What's going on, guys? Mr. Brickswag back here with another video. Today's video comes as a surprise to me and possibly to you guys too. I know I promised in the Rogue One ATST video that that would be my last Rogue One video for a while. But as it turns out, I actually managed to get my hands on yet another Rogue One set. This is actually a very interesting set. This is a super battle pack, I guess. So it's actually a combined pack of the Rebel Trooper pack and the Imperial Trooper pack. So those are both battle packs that were released during the second Rogue One wave, I believe. So after the movie came out, because they kind of depict the battle on Scarif, which is, obviously kind of a big spoiler, not really, but a little bit of a spoiler, I guess. And so you can kind of, see that you have both battle packs, but only in one package, which is really nice. Again, I was planning on maybe buying like one or both of these separately, but as it turns out, someone on Facebook Marketplace had this at a really good price, only $90. $90 in my area. And so I just sprung. I was like, hey, you still got that set, dude? And so he said, yeah, I went and picked it up. He's a Lego collector himself, so big shout out to you if you know who you are. It's a really awesome set, to be honest. I'm just really glad that I can get both battle packs for a really good price. I mean, he even gave me a couple bucks back, $85. So really, really sick. $85 for this. I mean, that's definitely way under market value. So I'm just really glad that I have this in my collection now. This is going to be really sick. But yeah, I can't wait to open it and build it and kind of review it for you guys. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, guys, so really interesting story here. This is my first time ever opening up one of these super battle packs. And so I didn't know that the actual original boxes actually come inside the super pack. I assumed all the bags were just going to come and, you would kind of just build them all at once. But no, it turns out the individual boxes are actually in the big box. That's kind of insane, actually, now I think about it. I mean, wow, I didn't know that was the way it worked. I mean, that's very cool. That is very cool indeed. But yeah, that is super sick. I'm very excited to kind of build these. But yeah, I'll go ahead and unbox each of these individually, show you guys all the contents, and then I'll go ahead and build both and then I'll show you guys the final result. So really excited for that. Alrighty, guys, so just unbox these two battle packs. On the left here, I have the Imperial Trooper Battle Pack, and on the right side here we have the Rebel Trooper Battle Pack. So we have instruction manuals for both. And we have two unnumbered bags for both as well. To be honest, I'm a little bit more excited for the Imperial Troopers just because I think the minifigures are better. Although the build is just kind of one little walker build. Whereas the Rebel Trooper build does look a little bit better. I think there are two kind of mini builds for this one, so this will look a little cooler, but the minifigures aren't as interesting in my opinion. So anyway, excited to get into this. Alrighty, guys, just finished the build of this super battle pack. Came out great. Only took me about 45 minutes to build both pretty quick builds, obviously. I mean, these are battle packs at the end of the day. So we'll start here with the minifigure lineup. And so we'll start off with the Imperial side first. So first, taking a look at this very generic Stormtrooper. Looks absolutely fantastic there. I think this is honestly like my favorite variant of Stormtrooper that we've ever gotten. He has those kind of like dark blue lines right there. And just very, very nicely printed torso and legs and everything. So again, my favorite Stormtrooper variant personally. If you take off the helmet, he has a very generic angry clone face right there. All of the minifigures in this lineup have these little stud shooters, which are not my favorite minifigures, unfortunately, but, does what it does. And now looking at the minifigures, which is the other minifigure here, which is the Death Trooper. Death Trooper is really, really awesome. I think this is pretty much a perfect mold. I mean, they could not have made it much better than this. Looks absolutely stunning. The prints and everything are fantastic. Again, the only thing I wish they changed was the weapon. And again, you have a generic angry face, which I don't really care about too much. So that is the Imperial minifigure lineup. Now, taking a look at the Rebel side of the minifigure lineup, we have a little bit more diversity here because we have, instead of, two pairs of identical troopers, we have all four Rebel troopers being unique, which is really, really cool. So starting off on the left here, you have this kind of dark bearded guy. He's kind of the designated driver, I guess, of the speeder bike, which is cool. This is probably my least favorite figure of these four for one main reason. I think the print on the legs is absolutely hideous and does not blend well with the rest of the figure. Aside from that, it is a pretty decent figure, nothing too special. By the way, I think all of these are single-faced heads, so no dual expression, which, I mean, I don't really care about much. Cool headpiece, anyway. Then you have another Rebel Trooper here. So this guy, I think, is the designated gunner right there. He's supposed to mount the turret and everything. Not that it really matters, of course. You can kind of put these however you want, but these two both have the generic blasters, which is why they are, you know, suited for those roles. This guy has a really cool, I think, custom printed or custom molded helmet, I should say. Very, very cool. Just a really nicely printed minifigure as well. Then you have this guy who has a kind of red beard, kind of a brown suit here. Again, looks pretty good. Has that kind of goggle setup, which is pretty cool. Then you have this guy on the right, who has kind of a brown jacket, but with the gray pants. Again, pretty cool. And he has a custom molded helmet as well. So a little bit more diversity with this kind of minifigure lineup, but they're definitely not as impressive. Again, I do appreciate the custom molds. I do like the fact that these two guys get kind of their custom stud shooters, so they have the little piece in the back that just makes it like a little more cool. So instead of, you know, normal blasters, they actually have blaster rifles, I guess, with the, you know, shoulder stock or whatever. So yeah, pretty cool there, but, you know, nothing too crazy. Now, taking a look at the mini builds for both of these sets, we have the kind of walker build, I guess, for the Imperial side. I don't know what exactly this vehicle is supposed to be. I want to say it's probably like a AT-RT or something like that, but this is a mini walker that you can kind of put an Imperial minifigure into. There are stud shooters on the side here, so you can press once to fire there. And then you have the other side. You have these cool kind of cannon-looking things on the side as well. Some pretty decent detail, and you also have a clip here that you can actually put a blaster onto. This is for the minifigure that is seated inside the vehicle, because obviously he can't hold it while he's driving, so that's pretty cool. It's a neat build overall. I will say the stability is a little bit lacking, but it was a pretty fun build, and it is good for what it is, so I do like that for sure. Now, taking a look at the Rebel mini builds, we have two here instead of one, but both of these I think are individually a little smaller than the walker that we had on the Imperial side. So we have a pretty small standard speeder bike here. It looks nice. I like the color on it. I like the green and everything. You can see one minifigure who can pilot it, and then you also have these clips on the side to store the weapon, which is really cool. And now you have a kind of mounted turret, I guess, that's I guess this is like a forward operating base or something like that. You know, you can kind of just have a gunner stood right there and manning that station and, you know, firing down the Imperial troops and everything. So, yeah, two pretty decent mini builds. I still think the Imperial mini build is better, but these are pretty decent. And, again, you get two of them, so that's nice. Alrighty, guys, so just went ahead and set up the kind of paddle that I have here. So you have the Imperial Troopers on the left side and the Rebel Troopers on the right side. You got your Stormtrooper kind of manning his little walker right there. And then you also have a Rebel Trooper manning the speeder bike and a Rebel Trooper manning the kind of turret station. So yeah, just a very, very cool scene to reenact in general. Definitely love this super pack. Totally worth the money in my opinion. If only for the minifigures alone. I mean, these minifigures are absolutely sick, especially on the Imperial side. Again, if it isn't clear already, I definitely have an Imperial bias here. I think this is definitely the set that I prefer. Not to say that the Rebel Trooper battle pack is bad. It's actually quite good, but I think there are some imperfections that put it below the Imperial pack for sure. Anyway, guys, really enjoyed building these two sets and kind of putting them side by side. Absolutely fantastic. Again, a huge shout out to the seller for giving me such a good deal. I think this is a phenomenal set, definitely well worth the money, and it just goes to show that the Rogue One sets were just in a different class, you know, just absolutely amazing, and I hope we get more of these type of sets in the future. Anyway, guys, hope you really enjoyed the video. I had a great time making it, and I absolutely love just building sets like this. If you want to, you know, show your support, please go ahead and leave a like down below. Leave a comment below as well, letting me know, what I can do better or what you liked about the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and stay tuned to Mr. Brick Swag for more LEGO Star Wars content. Peace out, guys.